Certainly, Rachel Zegler has become one of the most despised people in the entertainment industry in a very, very short time.
Rachel Zegler has been canceled from the Snow White movie.
The Rachel Zegler effect has begun. I have a sneaking suspicion the strikes are only a cop-out for the fact that she has had so much negative press. She is certainly one of the key reasons why the Snow White movie is absolutely doomed.
Rachel Zegler's Y2K bombs at the box office following Snow White backlash. This is a disaster for them. You can see the weekend domestic chart. Moana 2, Wicked, Gladiator 2 in the top 3. Got to go down a little bit to see Y2K from A24 at 2.1 million. I guess that's not a surprise when you hire the most unlikable person in the entertainment industry.
Y2K is a smash hit.
We're actually going to this New Year's thing. It's going to be a total show.
44% all critics, 37% top critics, and that scores just the amount of people that think it's above average.
Can't believe it. I very much had no interest in seeing Rachel Zegler in any.
Rumors are swirling that Disney has finally had enough of Rachel Zegler's controversies and box office flops. And if reports are true, they're planning to fire her on Christmas Day. Yes, Christmas Day. If this shocking move is real, it sends a clear message about how desperately Disney wants to distance itself from the actress they once championed. This is the same Rachel Zegler who is expected to shine as the new Snow White, only to be labeled box office poison by fans and critics alike. Her latest film, Y2K, was an unmitigated disaster, opening to a dismal $2.1 million on a $15 million budget. To make matters worse, it was crushed by Moana 2, Wicked, and even a re-release of Interstellar. Adding insult to injury, an anime film in 7th place managed to double her film's earnings. But the problem goes beyond just poor box office numbers. Zegler's comments, attitude, and ongoing controversies have turned her into a PR nightmare. Disney, already struggling with its own public relations issues, appears to have finally had enough. If the rumors are true, letting her go on Christmas Day isn't just a business decision. It's a brutal and symbolic move that speaks volumes. This isn't about one bad film. It's about a pattern of failure and controversy that even Disney can no longer ignore.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are releasing our final report on the Y2K computer problem.
Everyone's here.
We will experience no major national breakdown.
Someone's on the net.
That's been bizarre.
You've got mail. Breakdown, 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 breakdown.
Y2K, 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 Y2K.
You got mail. They made a video and everything. That's crazy.
Breakdown, breakdown, breakdown.
Oh, you're combining or something.
Oh, snap!
Think they'll still do graduation?
Y2K.
Another flop. Yet another flop for Rachel Zegler. Like, at some point in time, you got to start scratching your head and wondering, why are people putting Rachel Zegler in movies? Rachel Zegler does not bring boys to the yard. In fact, she scares them away. All right. She's like an old lady, a bitter old lady with a water hose, just screaming, "Get away from my yard, you bastards." Like, that's basically what Rachel Zegler is doing when it comes to these movies.
Oh, here we go. Shit, man. Okay.
It's going to be a total shit show.
Oh.
See ya.
It's an excuse to kiss the girl of your dreams. I'm actually gonna kick your fucking ass.
Y2K is real.
Will people roast us?
Yes, 100%. Someone's on the net.
You're a virgin who can't drive.
You are.
Bye-bye, human race.
Check out Y2K in theaters.
Now!
Please. Really. We do actually really need you guys to see this movie.
I don't need your business.
Sold as the next big thing, has never had at all a blockbuster hit. Like, none of her movies have been successful. So Disney banking big with Snow White And of course, Rachel Zegler is really, really stupid. Really, really dumb.
Rachel Zegler being the biggest name in the cast, and it is a flop. This movie had a $15 million budget, and it has only made $2.1 million domestically. By all accounts, this is a huge and utter failure at the box office, and it's another Rachel Zegler flop. Let's be real. She was in West Side Story, which didn't perform well. She was in Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which performed so badly in theaters that it went to streaming like 3 or 4 weeks after it initially released. She was also in the new Hunger Games movie, which compared to all the other Hunger Games movies, did relatively poorly, even though...
Here's a refined and more structured version of your text for better clarity and impact. Rachel Zegler's latest project, Y2K, was supposed to be her fresh start, a chance to prove herself as a box office draw without relying on big-name directors or established franchises. Instead, it became yet another embarrassment. The film opened to a dismal $2.1 million on a $15 million budget, and what followed was nothing short of catastrophic. In its second weekend, Y2K suffered a staggering 67% drop, earning just $684,957 across nearly 2,000 screens. To put that into perspective, a re-release of the 1954 classic White Christmas made $1.1 million that same weekend, on nearly half the number of screens. A 70-year-old film left Zegler's brand new project in the dust. The numbers don't lie. Y2K couldn't even crack the top 5 at the box office, getting outperformed by Wicked, Moana 2, Gladiator 2, and even the anime film Solo Leveling, Reawakening, which doubled its earnings. Critics weren't any kinder. The film received a humiliating C cinema score, one of the lowest ratings possible, signaling that even those who saw it walked away disappointed. The competition only highlighted Y2K's failure. While Wicked shattered records and Moana 2 exceeded expectations, Zegler's film seemed like an afterthought to audiences. But this isn't just about Y2K. Rachel Zegler has headlined multiple financial disasters. Take West Side Story, for example, directed by Steven Spielberg, a name that usually guarantees box office success, yet it still bombed, even with Zegler in the starring role. Then came Shazam! Fury of the Gods, where she played an antagonist. Despite being part of the DC universe, it became one of the lowest performing entries in the franchise. Most recently, The Hunger Games. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes didn't lose money, but it still became the lowest grossing installment in the entire Hunger Games series. But Y2K was different. It was the first film marketed almost entirely on Zegler's name, Hollywood's way of saying, "Come see this Rachel Zegler movie." The result? Audiences collectively shrugged and stayed home. The cold, hard truth is that Rachel Zegler's so-called star power has been tested, and it has failed every single time. It's no wonder Disney executives are rumored to be planning her exit. To them, she's more than just a bad investment. She's a PR and financial disaster waiting to happen. The fallout from Y2K and Zegler's other flops hasn't just affected her relationship with Disney, it's sending shockwaves across the industry. Executives at other major studios are reportedly steering clear of her altogether. With box office statistics proving she doesn't deliver and a pattern of controversy bringing nothing but bad PR, hiring Zegler has become a risk few companies are willing to take. The numbers speak for themselves. She's headlined multiple projects that either bombed outright or significantly underperformed. West Side Story flopped despite Spielberg's direction. Shazam! Fury of the Gods, one of the lowest-grossing DCU films. The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the weakest Hunger Games entry. Y2K, a complete financial disaster. But beyond the statistics, Zegler's off-screen persona has also been damaging. Her polarizing comments, particularly about Snow White, sparked massive fan backlash, with over 2 million dislikes on the trailers for Disney's live-action remake. Her attitude hasn't just alienated audiences, it's making her untouchable in Hollywood. Industry insiders are reportedly reluctant to cast her, fearing she could drag down their projects with her reputation. One executive was quoted saying, "It's not just about her box office numbers, it's the baggage she brings." Hiring her means taking on the risk of alienating fans and potentially losing millions in marketing damage. For studios that rely on audience goodwill and positive buzz, Zegler's name has become synonymous with risk. It's a grim reality for an actress who was once positioned as Hollywood's next big thing.
Nobody works harder than me for Rachel Zegler and trying to clean up her image. She's America's sweetheart. I fully believe that to my core.
Weird.
But it's like no matter what anybody does, she just cannot win.
The film debuted in 8th place with a disappointing 2.1 million from 2,108 theaters. The film also earned a dismal C- on CinemaScore and a 44% rotten average on Rotten Tomatoes. One other interesting note here is that Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, which is a 10-year-old film, re-released in theaters this weekend and is in the top 5.
I didn't see a lot of advertisement for this film, and why would you bother? You've already got somebody who creates their own advertisement or promotion. It's almost always all negative, and there was no chance this thing was going to turn the corner. So likely the studio A24 sold this off well in advance to multiple locations just to eke out the budget and a small profit. At least I hope for their sake they did, because I don't think this is going to make much more. This is one of those films that hits the box office, completely fails, and everybody walks away from it.
And the budget's only $15 million, and it didn't get much marketing. It probably only needs to make like 30 or 40 million for it to be a success. And I mean, these numbers, and we're going to go over them, are really bad. It shows you just how disposable Rachel Zegler really is, which is why it's just crazy.
Rachel Zegler is one of the most controversial women within Hollywood, and she is box office poison. Every project she's touching lately has turned to trash, and now her latest movie, Y2K, has bombed at the box office with a measly $2 million opening. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I do not like Rachel Zegler. I don't really like anything that she's in, and I just do not think that looking to the future, she's going to be in a lot of projects after this latest wave, because after Snow White, while I'm sure she's going to do one or two other things, I just don't see her ever really being a non-controversial actress.
Rachel Zegler continues to experience box office woes as her struggling horror comedy Y2K faced a massive 67% drop in its second weekend. When Y2K burst onto the scene, it earned a paltry $2.1 million, far less than anyone would expect from a movie featuring someone Hollywood has tried to position as a rising superstar.
Let's see who won, let's see who lost. Not looking too good for Y2K. I mean the movie.
Nobody at all. It's a hardcore gore film, right? Of a clown, demon clown from hell, hacking bodies up, cutting people up, taking chainsaws to their faces and doing all manner of disgusting things. That got over $18 million opening weekend. This movie, which Disney has invested her next movie, the realm of like $300 odd million into it, couldn't even get 2.1 million. This is a disaster for Disney's film.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Disney's growing frustration with Rachel Zegler is no secret, and much of it stems from the controversy surrounding her role as Snow White. What was meant to be a modern reimagining of a beloved classic quickly spiraled into a PR nightmare, largely due to Zegler's own comments. Before the film even hit theaters, she managed to alienate fans by making statements that many saw as dismissive of the original story and its audience. the backlash was swift and severe. The first trailer for Disney's Snow White received 215,000 downvotes compared to just 177,000 upvotes on YouTube. Across 2 trailers, the film racked up over 2 million dislikes, a staggering number that speaks volumes about the fans' discontent. Social media erupted with criticism, with many fans expressing outright anger at Zegler's remarks. Rumors even circulated that Disney considered cutting her from the project entirely, but by then, the damage had already been done. The internet hasn't been kind to Zegler either. She has been widely dubbed box office poison by fans who haven't held back their opinions. Comments such as, "Rachel Zegler will kill this movie too," and "She seems to be box office poison for acting like the nasty wretch she is," have flooded social media platforms. One fan even took it further, calling her box office snake oil, suggesting that not only does she fail to draw audiences, but she actively repels them. This controversy hasn't just damaged Zegler's reputation, it has also hurt Disney. The studio, already facing its own internal struggles, has reportedly suffered financial losses and a barrage of bad press directly tied to Zegler's involvement. Executives are said to be so disillusioned with her that there are even rumors they plan to cut ties with her entirely after Snow White is released. For a company as image-conscious...
Everything else Rachel Zegler does, her new movie Y2K is a blockbuster hit. Just kidding. The film premiered in 9th place, and now 2 weeks later, it's fast-tracked straight to streaming on Christmas Eve.
Did y'all know about Y2K growing up, or did you know much at all before the script came along?
I feel like it had mostly been used to describe a certain aesthetic for like clothing, music, era of films. What? Oh, that's a super Y2K outfit or a Y2K playlist.
Listening to Zegler talk, I almost feel sad for her.
Well, there has been inevitable backlash online, fans accusing Disney of inserting unnecessary feminism into classic fairy tales.
And this is despicable stuff because you're taking legacy properties and you're still making your money off your legacy properties while simultaneously promoting a woke left-wing agenda that targets children. That is what Disney has been doing.
Disney has done it again. This Snow White controversy has gone way longer than they thought that it would, and it's going terribly.
I guess what are we going to have? Like a lesbian, a trans person, someone in a wheelchair, someone of color? I don't understand.
Disney's 100th anniversary was supposed to be a grand celebration, a nostalgic reflection on decades of magical storytelling, beloved characters, and unparalleled cinematic achievements. Instead, it has become one of the most turbulent chapters in the company's history. At the center of the chaos is the live-action remake of Snow White, a project mired in controversy from the very beginning. From a trailer that was obliterated online to 5 disastrous test screenings, the backlash against Snow White has been unprecedented. Even Disney CEO Bob Iger reportedly finds himself at a loss, with internal frustration and mounting skepticism about the company's direction reaching new heights. In this video, we'll break down how Snow White became the epicenter of one of Disney's worst PR disasters. We'll analyze the reasons behind the backlash and discuss whether there's any hope for the company. As the holidays approach, Rachel Zegler isn't just seen as a problem for Disney. She's being called the Grinch of Christmas across Hollywood. Insiders are buzzing with reports that her controversies and box office failures have left not only Disney but other studios scrambling to clean up the mess. The decision to fire her on Christmas Day is no coincidence. Disney executives reportedly view it as a symbolic move, an attempt to reclaim their holiday cheer after a year of bad press and financial losses tied directly to her name. Rumors suggest that Zegler even auditioned for Wicked, a film that has since broken records and brought in massive profits. Thankfully for the production team, she didn't land the role. Imagine what could have happened, one executive allegedly said. She could have dragged Wicked into the same chaos she's caused for every project she touches. Hollywood insiders now widely agree that Zegler has earned the dreaded title of box office poison, with studios actively steering clear of her to protect their reputations. Even if she markets herself as a good fit for a role, nobody's buying it anymore, one anonymous source noted. The numbers are too damning, and she's more trouble than she's worth. For Disney, the frustration goes beyond her underwhelming performances. Zegler's controversies and behavior have overshadowed the efforts of hardworking creatives and employees, many of whom feel their dedication has been wasted. She's stolen the joy of Christmas for all of us, an insider vented. We've spent months cleaning up the PR mess she created. Firing her now feels like poetic justice. The rumored Christmas Day firing isn't just about ending her contract, it's a statement. After the Snow White backlash and her recent box office failures, Disney executives are making it clear Zegler is no longer welcome. For a studio built on magic and holiday joy, reclaiming the narrative means cutting ties with what they see as the root of their seasonal nightmare. And it doesn't stop with Disney. Other studios are reportedly blacklisting her, concerned about the ripple effects of bad PR and financial losses. Her reputation has become so toxic that even projects she auditions for are met with skepticism. As one industry figure put it, this isn't just a stumble, it's career suicide. Nobody wants to gamble on someone whose track record speaks for itself. As Christmas draws near, the industry is already moving forward without Zegler. For Disney and others, her departure may finally signal the end of a year filled with unnecessary drama, refocusing attention on delivering the magic and joy audiences expect during the holiday season. For Zegler, however, the writing on the wall has never been clearer. Hollywood has had enough. But is this truly the end of Rachel Zegler's career, or can she somehow bounce back from being Disney's most controversial star? Her reputation is in tatters. Her recent projects have...
His woke Snow White trailer trashed hours after release. I want the Queen to win in this version. And yes, indeed, right now I just refreshed this. Almost 400,000 dislikes.
To the bottomless, gaping pit of insecurity you call a soul.
Yeah. Weird.
Eventually, probably soon, the world will recognize you for the pitiful disappointment you are.
Ever see you step into the Marvel universe? I would love a job. That's all I have to say. I'll take a job, and I've obviously grew up loving Marvel movies and DC movies. If I was contractually allowed to live the best of both worlds, then I would.
Rachel Zegler, every time that she is in front of a camera, boy, is she just insufferable. It's been a long time since we've seen somebody just exuding so much unlikability.
Rachel Zegler has been canceled from the Snow White movie. It is official that she was just dropped from starring in Paddington 3. While some people say that it's because of the strike that's currently happening and they don't want to wait for her to film anymore, others are saying that it's because of the bad publicity that she's gained from Snow White.
The Rachel Zegler effect has begun. I have a sneaking suspicion the strikes are only a cop-out for the fact that she has had so much negative press. She is certainly one of the key reasons why the Snow White movie is absolutely doomed.
I never wanted to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
There are growing calls tonight for Disney to fire Rachel Zegler, the star of its widely anticipated Snow White remake. It's because of an anti-Donald Trump post she made after the election, writing, quoting here, "May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace." Zegler is now apologizing. She writes in a new post, let my emotions get the best of me, and I am sorry, contributed to the negative discourse. Sorry, while I take a glass of water. All of it raising questions about what Disney could do next with all this controversy surrounding the star of the show, the Snow White adaptation.
Very much in people's minds when they were deciding what to watch at the movie theater. The movie was forecast to make $5 million and it didn't do that. No such luck over the weekend, the film earning $2.1 million. Zegler, a rising star thanks to West Side Story and the Hunger Games prequel, cemented her It actress status by snagging the lead role in Disney's Snow White live action film. She proceeded to crush that goodwill.
They probably got cold feet because of her previous attitude in interviews, and they were afraid that she was going to damage the reputation of this movie, and they took a chance. And I don't really think that it paid off, because I still think that if she had said controversial things in an interview, more people would have heard about it, but nobody was talking about this leading up to Rivs.
Yet in Hollywood, anything is possible. The question remains, can she turn the page? Or has she crossed a line that can't be undone? What do you think about the rumors of her firing? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.